Hi, I'm Shandor, and I love Rammstein. No, I really do. They've just released their latest album around the end of May, and it's kinda I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, it's okay. But there's just something lacking, mostly heaviness for me. I like Rammstein to be heavy, and this new album is kinda overlaid with synths and blah. So I thought this might be a good time to write my own Rammstein song. I thought the best place to start is to take a look at the early stuff of Rammstein and what made them Rammstein. Because there's quite a lot of stuff that is very, very typical of Rammstein, and I tried to put all those pieces together and write my own Rammstein song. So I thought I'm gonna put all those little pieces together and see what I can come up with. So if you know the first three albums of Rammstein, Herzeleid, Sehnsucht and Mutter, you might notice that the main part of their songs is the marching type of drum beat that Schneider has, Christoph Schneider, their drummer. And it's actually very, very unique, I don't think I've heard anyone else play the drums like he does on those albums. In fact, he's very, very underrated as a drummer. No one talks about Christoph Schneider, but he's that solid. Now, why is Rammstein's marching type of drum beat so unique? That's because Schneider plays the bass drum and the snare drum at the same time on each quarter note while he plays eighth notes on the hi-hat. It goes something like this. I don't think I have heard any other band play that beat. It's quite unique and it's typically Rammstein, so we're gonna use that beat. Now, in terms of the guitars go, Rammstein has been using drop C tuning since Reise. But for this video, I'm just tuned to drop D. One, because it's low enough for me, and two, because Rammstein also used this kind of tuning on the first three albums along with the regular standard tuning stuff. Okay, so how to write a Rammstein riff? You should ask them. The concept is pretty simple. Just take some power chords, borrow them from the minor scales or the Phrygian scales, and you're good to go. Mine is kind of a Phrygian type of thing. It goes like this. Now, this might not sound much in and of itself, but if you take this riff and combine it with the marching drum beat, you've got a pretty effective riff. So that's what we're going to use today. As far as songwriting goes, Rammstein usually utilizes the traditional songwriting formula, like verse, chorus, middle section, chorus, and the end of the song. But the genius of Rammstein, in my opinion, really lies in how they arrange the songs. What I mean by that is how they incorporate the electronic elements with the heavy guitars, and the drums and the singing and all that. So I really think that Flake, their keyboard player, is their secret weapon. Flake, if you're watching this, you're a genius. What I really love about Flake's parts is it's so dissonant. A lot of times it's just tension, 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 and the next note is tension again, and it's not gonna release. Flake usually shines in those middle sections, which a lot of times happen to be my favorite parts of their songs, because the way he uses melody is not the way that you would expect a melody to go. So, Flake a lot of times just plays a note and it's a lot of tension in that note, and then plays another note and it's another tension note, and again and again and again, and it just never stops and it doesn't have a release, and it's just fantastic. So in my song, I created a middle section that kind of resembles that, and I try to find some really fucked up synth sounds to play some fucked up synth melody. Now, as far as singing goes, I must say that Till Lindemann is great. He is incredibly expressive. He's got a great sense of melody. And one thing I really appreciate is when I see a musician evolving, being better all the time. And I really think that Till's voice really came to its own on Mutter. The first two albums were quite rough around the edges, both in terms of music and in terms of Till's voice, but he really came to shine on Mutter and onwards. Now, when it comes to singing, there's quite a few problems. One is, I'm not a singer. At all. Like, at all. Two, I can't speak German for shit. So I used online translator programs, to create lyrics that are seemingly making sense. I hope so. I don't know. If you're a German speaker, you're definitely in for a treat, and I'm sorry in advance. Now, because I can sing at all, I just try to, use my voice as T usually does in the verses. He's got this quality in his voice where it almost sounds like he's reading something for children, like Liebe Kinder. If you know Rammstein's music, you know what I'm talking about. So I try to incorporate that into the song, and then I try to sing a bit in the pre-chorus part of the song, which is probably horrendous, so I'm sorry. As far as lyrics go, Rammstein likes to sing about quite a lot of controversial stuff, but they also like to sing about sex. Hell, they even got a song called Sex on the new album. So I thought I'm gonna call my own Rammstein song Fick mich. Fick mich, which means love me. That's what it means, okay? Yeah, love me. So without further ado, this is my own Rammstein song called Fick mich. Roll tape.
Du bist alles klar.